When many of us think about community, we think about our neighborhoods, our cities, we think about our churches, our schools, we think about the business districts in our neighborhood. We think about all the things that together make us feel safe and grounded, all the things that make us feel like we are part of something. Children and young people who live in communities that are supported by resources and good schools and loving parents, caring adults, are 48% more likely to succeed in life than those who are not. In fact, if children are born into poverty, and God forbid you're a boy that's born into poverty, you're 48% less likely to achieve. Raj Chetty of Stanford reported in his 2016 Equality of Opportunity Project that where you come from, who you're born to, if your parents are married, and how much they make plays a major role in determining where you'll end up later in life. When young people I work with are asked what they think about their community, what vision do they have of their community, many times their response is, I see sirens, I hear ambulances, I remember someone bleeding on the ground. Those kind of traumatic daily experiences that young people in our very community experience are critical to their growth process or lack of growth process. What if they look around? What do they see? They see billboards. Let's see. Oh, well, hang on, I'm way behind. Okay. They see billboards of people who are selling cigarettes and liquor, who are predatory attorneys trying to get them to think about how to make a quick dollar. They see ways that young people are incarcerated. The examples that they see of themselves and what people are selling them in their neighborhood are absolutely horrendous. And I'll talk a little bit more about how some great community leaders have done something about that. But what if their example is a whole house full of brothers and sisters who haven't completed their high school diploma, or a family who has had to move more times than they can count? What if their example is a father that they've never known who's been in prison their whole life, or that the adults in their home are not gainfully employed? This doesn't mean that those people do not love them. It doesn't mean that they don't care for them. But those are the examples that many young people are seeing on a daily basis. So how does a young person who really believes that there's more out there, how do they make that happen for themselves? How can that work for them? What does a young person have to do or engage in or endure to make sure that the dreams they have become a reality? I wonder a lot, do we really have to be tied inextricably to the place that we're born, or maybe the people that have raised us, or our conditions or circumstances? Research says that they do, but I don't think so. And the reason I am sure of that is because I've watched young person after young person across my lifetime change because they had the resiliency to do so. But how do they do that? What do they need to bring that resiliency to life? What do they need in their tough neighborhoods to make sure that those same young people can succeed? This is really what I came to talk about. I think that communities are a mirror image to the people who live in them, and that across the country there are 270 cities that have YouthBuild programs. And I'm going to talk about the model a little bit and talk about what we expect of young people. YouthBuild programs are designed as community and youth development programs. They are designed to help young people transform their lives and become leaders in their community. They're designed for 16 to 24-year-olds who are low or very low income backgrounds. In Louisville, our young people over the last 16 years, about 60% of them are parenting already. 75% have not gotten their high school diploma by the time they register with us. Generally, 35 to 50% of them have been caught up in the foster care system some sort of way. And this last year, 40% of our young people entering the program were homeless. So we're talking about young people being resilient in the face of all of that hardship. Yet, what we really try to do is build a place of respect and love for young people. Help them meet the challenges and face their fears and overcome generational poverty, just really one young person at a time. I'm going to tell you a story. I'm trying to do this. We'll see how this works out. But I'm going to try to mirror a community that I love, Smoketown, and a young person whom I love. We'll call him LF. When we moved to the Smoketown neighborhood, when YouthBuild moved to the Smoketown neighborhood in 2010, we were just coming on the front end of the Hope 6 project, which was really set up to bring down the public housing in that neighborhood and build new. In 2012, Scout magazine named Smoketown the 13th most violent neighborhood in the nation. They were experiencing daily shootings and drug deals, decaying infrastructure. LF, who's a gentle, young, quiet man, had moved around so much in his lifetime, his short lifetime, that he had no real bond with his school community or with friends because he wasn't there long enough in that school to even get to know the young people. He was a really good guy. And one night, shortly after I had met him, he was arrested because his cousin had put a gun that was in the car in his jacket pocket so that he would not be arrested. The cousin would not be arrested. So our young guy was arrested, and that started really a hellish experience for him. However, I'm going to talk about the resilience of this young man. The isolation that a community feels, these are some of the things. Crime and violence is one that he and this community have in general together. Isolation. The Smoketown neighborhood is nestled between the Central Business District and the Highlands. Yet nobody wants to travel through it, or at least that was our experience back then. It wasn't performing well on any measures. And in 2011, we were named the 14th poorest neighborhood in the U.S. LF had a family of 10 siblings, none of whom had graduated from high school, although they were brilliant because 2 of his sisters had already graduated from YouthBuild. They were underperforming all of his brothers and sisters economically, academically, and socially. And even though the schools that he went to made fun of him and never really knew him, the social isolation that he felt really caused him to build a shell around him that did not allow any of us in originally. A lack of basic daily needs. This community had no grocery store, no shoe shop, no cleaners, no bank, no ice cream store, no coffee shop. One restaurant, and plenty of liquor stores. His family had not enough food for the 11 people in the family, repeatedly moving and homeless, one set of clothes to his name, and a backpack. No bike, no toys, no electronic equipment. So what did it take for him and for Smoketown to change? Because I think that's probably the message I want to give. The reality is that communities have to commit to the belief that growth is possible through hard work, and God knows people don't deserve the trust that we ask people to put into us because of the years of desperation that those communities have had to endure. But we ask them to trust and build relationships, use resources as wisely as possible, and bring as many people to the table to help change those communities as we can. The same thing is true for LF. We want resources. We know he needs resources. We know that he needs love and attention. So this is kind of where the intersection comes together. So to commit to the future, we ask our young people to begin by first earning their high school diploma. We ask them to commit to career development, either in construction, which is the YouthBuild model across the nation, across the world. In nursing, we've added culinary arts, and this last year, environmental education. And each of the speakers that have spoken so far today, it's interesting because we have relationships with those agencies because it's important to connect young people to the community. But what happened for Smoketown is that the Louisville Housing Authority did tear down the 365 units of housing and build back 280 units of beautiful new mixed income housing that's spread out more broadly in the neighborhood. We worked with IDEAS-X-Lab to start a STEAM program, and two wonderful young artists have been working together with us to build 5 days a week after school math and science programs using the arts. We took a problematic liquor store and turned it into an art center. IDEAS-X-Lab has brought more than 50 artists to our neighborhood. A health and wellness center is opening. For LF, he earned his high school diploma. He earned certifications in career advancement. He's completed 1,350 service hours and earned 2 AmeriCorps Scholarship Awards. He started his first job. He's in the middle of an internship program now in tech business. And last year, he spent 2 weeks in the gardens of Versailles studying gardening and high volume production. You have to commit, I think, to changing behaviors that have defeated your community in the past and have defeated you personally in the past. For Smoketown, we have to figure out how to permanently reverse our underground economy, drug trafficking, human trafficking. If you don't, these things will persist. They'll develop on their own. Money has to flow through communities. So social awareness is critical. New businesses are moving into Smoketown, law offices, architects, restaurants, and bakeries. So we talked earlier, what are we going to do about not gentrifying that community? We have developed and reconstituted the neighborhood association so we can watch and pay attention at all times about the people who live there, the people who want to remain there. And we will never be, that community will always have public housing at its core. So how do we make that public housing the richest and highest quality of life place to live for people in this community? We've opened Fresh Stops, a Fresh Stop site, and have 60 families. And we're in the process. Community Foundation of Louisville has taken possession of a 2-acre lot from the Hilrick and Bradsby Company, and we'll be turning that within the next year or so. Well, we'll see what we'll be turning into, but we hope it's going to be a park and a business hub. General Electric brought 600 volunteers together with over 50 partners and 11 agencies in the city working together to really work and change our community. We put in soccer fields, 150 street trees, and a new park. Our campus alone has gone through a $400,000 acquisition to a $3 million campus with gardens, orchards, buildings, barns, rain gardens, and incredible places for young people to eliminate their barriers, understand how to cope, really understand that progress is possible for them. We took another liquor store, and together with IDEAS-X-Lab, we're turning that into a community laundromat, the #1 thing that the community said they needed. So that's him right in the middle, in the garden, in the palace in Versailles. The guy on the left is also in France. He studied there 2 years prior, and then these guys went the year in between. This is Bates, where the Dance Theater of Harlem came in and taught workshops through IDEAS-X-Lab. And this is a project that we worked on with Kentucky Arts and Crafts Festival, Kentucky Arts and Crafts Museum, excuse me, working with folks through the prison and our young people, putting their stories on these beautiful pieces that were woven together. And that's now on our wall in our building. For LF, he was placed into stable housing, and he's been there for a year now. His stability is allowing him to remain steady on his job. He keeps his clothes in one place. He can take a shower every night. He always knows that the food he puts in the fridge is going to be in the fridge when he comes back. And he has committed to serving others. So what do we mean by that? So he's come from a place where he wouldn't let anybody in to a place where he's giving. And that's possible when young people have the right resources and love around them and attention to their success. I believe that when young people are given the chance to serve, as all of us are, our hearts fill up. In his case, his passion for service has grown into a place where he works in nature. He's earned 3 arboriculture certifications, planting hundreds of trees and trees with Louisville Grows, and now tending to one of the most prestigious gardens in Louisville. That's one of his jobs. His head is always high now, and he takes his skateboard down the road, and you can feel the freedom that he feels as you watch him skate away. He's working and planning and saving for his future, and in the fall he will begin college. As one of my past graduates told his employer, and the employer called me in tears one day, he said, "I just had to let you know this. Larry just came in and told me, Mr. Chris, this is the year that I move into the middle class. I'm buying a house this year." I can't tell you how that makes me feel. Saddened at one point, maybe to feel like he didn't deserve to be in the middle class, and also saddened by the fact that it took him so long to be able to get there as hard as he worked. But the reality is, tides can change. Neighborhoods have space. Our community has space for more middle-class neighborhoods. We have a space for more high-quality neighborhoods, even though some of the people who are living in them may be in poverty and working their way out. Really, what I'm trying to say is that successful renaissances are possible in all the neighborhoods that Jessica talked about and that John talked about. Smoketown is no longer the 13th highest crime-ridden neighborhood. We are no longer have the status of the 14th poorest neighborhood in the nation. Communities and young people can thrive with the right amount of hope and resources and support. What I'd like you to do is help stoke the fires in the hearts of young people. That you join us in Smoketown or a neighborhood of your choice. That you or anyone that you know who's really interested in working with young people, that you connect them to those young people, because young people need them. Or if you just want to come to Smoketown and buy your bi-weekly produce, we got that for you too. Smoketown is open for business, and our young people are our entrepreneurs. Thank you.